guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
Write that down.
It's a Write That Down Wednesday, the OG edition of Write That Down here on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. We just launched the 2025 Write That Down League year last week, so we have a blank slate going into the accountability session here. The only show in America that has the courage, the stones to put statistics next to our predictions here, showing you just how wrong we are on a regular basis. It's really cold outside, Judd. So MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air, the heating portion of their services are important today.
Exactly. You know what? And this is the time of year where if something goes wrong with the furnace, you need somebody to come out now. And most importantly, somebody that you trust. And that is where my friends at MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air come in, because for all your plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain needs, they are going to be there. Why? Because they're a 100% family-owned and operated business. MSP committed to taking care of you and your family. Building trust is a big part of how they do business, and they do it incredibly well. And so, yes, if the furnace is coughing, wheezing, it's working very hard now, MSP is going to make sure that that thing is working and going great. And plus, book a $49 plumbing inspection by Friday and enter to win 2 tickets plus a $100 gift card to the March 9th Wild Game. For service, give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, callamsp.com. Call MSP.com. You will have a friend for life, and that will give you peace of mind for when something goes wrong.
Amen. Amen. All right, boys, let's get into how this works.
Write this down.
If you're new, welcome in. We've been doing this about a decade now, actually, with statistics going back to 2018, making predictions on the old radio show, 1500 ESPN's Mackey and Judd, 4 hours every single day. And we've carried it over into the podcast world here the last few years. It's 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. I know people have asked in the past if we could do is there like a punishment, like a strikeout or an interception on the Purple Daily side? And I don't know, we don't want to complicate it too much.
We sort of tried with slugging percentage back in the day.
Yeah, we had doubles, triples, and homers.
Yeah,
but then I was like, how do you delineate
plus it's a
between
lot
those?
of bookkeeping already for you. So
yeah. Write that down should be something where if you're sitting around the bar stools with your buddies, you should be able to explain what it is. Mm-hmm.
The only idea that I sort of like, and it wouldn't be for the OG, but the PD one is I love the idea of like a pick six or like something where if it's really bad, it gets punished. But I don't know how you
really
quantify
easy
that.
check down prediction.
Yeah.
And it goes haywire. Like Aaron Rodgers will have at least 1 yard in his debut with the Jets, and then he tears his Achilles. Like, you should get shamed for trying to pick up an easy check down.
Yeah, I think the one that have come in about that is called like jumping the route. So like if I make a prediction in that vein and then Phil's next and he says, I'm going to jump the route, I'm actually going to say the opposite of Declan's prediction because I think that's crazy. Then it would be like I would get credit with an interception. I would be credited with an interception because Phil jumped the route and got it correct or something. But then it's too complicated.
It gets very complicated.
Yeah, no, not doing it.
Yeah, I agree.
So if you want to participate like Charlie is about to, as a guest listener participant here, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app, and we'll get you scheduled for an upcoming episode. Judd, as usual, we will start with you. And you had nothing come off the board. So you're going to start your season with a continued blank slate. I will put this one, I'll highlight this one still on the board. You said Tom Brady will not finish his career with the Bucs. He will play for another team, and there's really no end date on it.
Yeah, you can take it off.
I feel like here's what we'll do. I think we'll put an end date of the end of this season.
Okay.
Just in case he gets the itch.
Yeah, you could have taken it off at the end of this past, write that down.
When he became an owner, I guess.
Season, yeah. In fact, I would argue that you should have to help me out so I don't get punished in the 2025 campaign. But it can go away for sure.
All right, I had one thing come off the board. This one kind of pisses me off. It was a 3-item parlay for All-Star Weekend, NBA. It was Tyler Hero makes it to the three-point contest finals. Well, he actually won it. And Leonard Miller would score at least a basket in the Rising Stars game, and he had a bunch of baskets. And so all I needed was for Anthony Edwards to score at least 20 points in the All-Star game, and he sat out because it's good. He's like resting up for the Wolves stretch run, and I appreciate that. I just wanted to write that down point here.
Yeah.
So,
Although the fact that you did make a prediction on a series of events that you had no intention of paying attention to probably is the karma gods biting you right in the ass.
you're probably right.
'Cause
I definitely watched
I'm not
more
gonna
of
watch it. I'm just
the
making
Four
a thread.
Nations Cup this weekend. than I did.
You know what though? That thing, man, make it go away. The All-Star game. Let's not do that anymore.
Yeah, or just like
It just
I
doesn't
don't
work.
just why don't the players just do why don't they do what players did for years and years, which is have a fun display for 2.5 quarters and then lock it in, keep the game kind of close, and then
Yeah.
lock it in for like the fourth quarter and play a competitive second half.
Because I don't think
weird.
I don't think the modern athlete cares. Like it used to be like a rivalry, right? And now guys spend their entire, as kids, right? Their teammates on AAU teams. It just feels like there's a lack of caring, which, by the way, I'm fine with. I just want the adults to kill the game.
Yeah, I guess because like the concept of All-Star games goes back to when there wasn't as much player movement. It was pre-free agency. So you would have, back in the 1960s or something, and in baseball, for instance, American League never played National League. That's a novelty.
Right.
And players couldn't become free agents. So like Ernie Banks would just play for the Cubs his whole career. And then he would be teammates with a guy who's been on the Mets for his whole whatever, right? But now it's like Kevin Durant's played on 4 different teams, and LeBron's played on a bunch of different teams, and everyone's played. You've seen it all, right?
And they play 82 games in playoffs now. I don't blame them. Just take the week. Give them the week off. Seriously.
It also,
That'd be
I think the complicated part too is a lot of players' contracts have like All-Star game bonuses and All-Star selections bonuses built into those contracts. So like that part is also a little like they'd have to figure out how to
pick the teams.
Figure that out though. No, but like I'm saying if you're a player, you get a $500,000 bonus in your 4-year contract because you got named to the All-Star game. So if you replace that or if you get rid of it, you're going to have to figure out a way to keep those.
No, Judd's saying you can still pick the teams, just don't
name
play the game.
Just don't play the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I feel like the All-Star thing to me is a bunch of guys my age trying to be like, we got to find a way. And the younger generation of players is just saying, no, you don't. We just don't care. And it's like, no, you don't understand. We got to find a way to get ratings.
The fact that Wemby and Chris Paul thought to themselves, I think there's a loophole in the skills challenge where you don't actually have to make the basket. You could just, it would be better and faster to just literally rocket these basketballs off the rim and don't even try to make them. Like, just what are we doing? And why do you care so much? Why do you care so much about the skills challenge that it's
hilarious. It is funny.
Anyways, okay, listeners had nothing come off the board, so let's highlight this one. Riley said the Twins will trade for Mike Trout by the end of the 2025 season.
Right fielder Mike Trout.
His value's coming down. He's getting older. He's now a right fielder instead of a center fielder. This is never going to happen because this contract is ridiculous. But and it would require the Twins to make a deadline trade, actually, which they never do.
I could see him being traded, not in a million years, of course, unless the Ishbias buy the team and then decide, well, we'll go hog wild. Give us Mike Trout.
That's a good point. The Ishbias get kind of splashy.
Go.
Declan had a bunch of stuff come off the board, actually. All of it bad. So you said Judd will do a selfie video, extended rant on a show, or a write that down prediction that Anthony Edwards needs to sit out the All-Star game.
Didn't have to. Called him direct, Declan. I called him. I said, Ant. He said, Judd? I said, Ant, listen to me and listen good. Don't play in the All-Star game.
Click.
Yeah, the way you perked. The reason I did this is because Phil said it on a flagrant howls going into last week's Write That Down. When Phil suggested, you like lit up like a Christmas tree, like, oh, that's a great idea. And I figured, this is prime for Judd.
Oh.
This is prime Judd territory of squaring up the ball and putting it into the opposite field. But no, I struck out.
You know what killed you? It's the fact that I spent 2 weeks saying that prominent players in the Four Nations tournament were going to get hurt. And I expended all of my hot takes on that. So like by the All-Star game thing for basketball, I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And by the way, prominent players are hurt. But it's a great tournament, so I guess we're fine with it.
Are we going to see more fights? When's the championship game?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Thursday. Night? Yeah, Thursday night. It should be tonight. It's Thursday night, and I actually have to write that down about the fights in that game, so I'll withhold comment.
I might have a hockey whisperer might come out of retirement for that one.
Dead.
Declan also said the Wolves will have multiple players named to the Rising Stars roster All-Star Weekend. And at least one of Chris Paddock, Willie Castro, or Christian Vazquez would be traded before pitchers and catchers report.
Chris Paddock.
They tried like hell, I think, to trade Paddock and Vazquez for sure.
Chris Paddock would like to be traded, said Chris Paddock.
I love that he talks in the third person. It's one of my favorite Chris Paddock facts.
It's hilarious. His little cowboy outfits, talking in the third person. So Dex and old Macadac are at 0 batting average, 0 for. Listeners and Judd still nothing off the board. So all-time, Declan still leads by a mile in the career batting average category, 348. Judd, 322. I'm at 279, and listeners, 266. Listeners with 70 home runs lead everyone in the bombs category. So let's get Charlie in here, our guest listener predictor. I'm going to write that down. Making his debut, the Chuckster. What's going on, man?
Not much. I was basically trying to be Miguel Sano here, so I'm either going down swinging or it's going 500 feet to dead center. So
nothing wrong with that. You know what?
Did Miguel Sano play any winter ball here? We should look him up real quick.
I don't think he's on a roster, right?
He got cut by the Angels about halfway through the year last year.
Yeah, I don't think he's on a roster. He might be destined for the Mexican League that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
Vargas
winter ball.
played in.
Yeah, those are winter leagues. So he's.
Oh, I thought there was a summer league as well.
There might be, but he's playing in the Dominican Winter League.
Okay.
For the the Estrellas Orientales, San Pedro de Macorís.
I hear he's in great shape.
He's kind of raking, man. He's got an 857 OPS, 515 slugging percentage.
There you go.
He's got 5 homers in 19 games. He's also struck out in just over 25% of his play. So Miguel Sano still exists, hitting bombs all over the world.
Best shape of his life. That's what my scouting report says. He's in incredible shape. He showed up in great shape. He wants it now. It's a new Miguel Sano.
just wait till halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be the old Miguel Sano.
That's how you have to get in the best shape of your life every year, is like you enjoy that baseball catering during
That's
the
what I was going to
summers.
say. The actual question is, what is the catering like in his league now? Because if it's not great, he's probably rail thin.
He's only 31 years old, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, it's one of the great busts.
Dude, actually, this roster, there's a ton of major leaguers on it. Robinson Cano is one of his current teammates in the
Nice.
Dominican Winter League.
Oh, he's still playing?
41 years old.
Hell yeah.
my
Good for Robbie.
He's batting 353 in the Dominican Winter League.
His drop-off was so sad because that guy was so smooth with the Yankees. Oh, he was a smooth second baseman.
Great swing.
And made it look so easy.
Danny Santana
Danny Santana.
is on this team too.
Whoa.
He's struggling, only batting $143.
Time for a road trip, boys. Let's go.
Neftali Feliz
Neftali.
Yeah.
is in their bullpen.
Phil has rabbit holed himself. This is it.
Oh,
It is great.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
I think there's another player for the Mariners who's... Wait, is this the same Neftali Feliz? Because I thought he got invited to camp with the Mariners. Yeah.
He might have. It's possible that because he
did.
might have just left the Winter League, and now he's in a major league camp.
He signed a minor league deal with Seattle at the end of January. So I think he's in camp right now.
Look at that. You come for the predictions. You stay for the Dominican Winter League
It's time
updates on
for
players from 7 years ago.
Winter League update, sponsored by.
All right, Charlie, what's your background as a Minnesota sports fan?
Yeah, so I grew up a Minnesota sports fan. I was just looking this up the other day. I was 25 days old when Gary Anderson missed his kick. So
Wow.
the trauma started early. But yeah, big hockey fan. Gotten more into the Timberwolves over the last couple of years, because they've actually been good. And then listening to Flagrant Howls too has helped.
Nice, man. I love how like we all cried because the Vikings lost to the Falcons and Gary Anderson missed that kick. Charlie cried because he was 25 days old, so he was just crying, probably.
Consider yourself fortunate. You missed it.
Yeah, you were physically here for it. It's ingrained into your subconscious. But so we're gonna start with Charlie. He'll make his first prediction. We'll go around the room 3 times. So Charlie, Judd, Dex, back to me. And yeah, Charlie, you're in the batter's box here.
Write this down.
Fire away, man.
Yeah, so I want to get this one out of the way first because it sounds like there might be some coming down the pipeline here. Got a 3-item parlay. The Canadian anthem will be booed tomorrow night. There will be at least one fight in the first period, and the U.S. will beat Canada again.
Oh, let's go.
Beautiful.
That'd be a great hat trick of events, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And we would only be booing the Canadian anthem because they disrespected and booed our stuff,
Yeah.
right? And okay, so it's like I don't think we like actually. I feel like Canada kind of hates the U.S. just in. I don't know that we hate Canada in our bones, but
yeah. I mean, it's based on the tariffs. Like they don't hate. The Canadians are pretty passive. They don't really hate us, but now they're pissed off. So, yeah.
Write this down.
It is what it is. Okay, I'm going to take one part of what Charlie said. So 3 fights within 9 seconds of the puck being dropped on Saturday. There will be no first period fights. I can't say that there won't be like a second or third period scuffle that could turn into a fight, but there will be. I think they're going to try to actually, because the tone was set. Like we now know that neither team plans on backing down. So now that is done and out of the way, I think there will be no fights in the first period of the game on Thursday night.
I like it.
yeah, I mean it's kind of funny though because like you needed fights to set the tone. That's a weird narrative though. It goes back to I am always confused about fighting in hockey. So like we had to show them that we aren't backing down in this less important game, but now that the game is even more important, we don't feel the need to show them that we're not going to back down.
God, that was fun. Plus, it was a great game,
and it was entertaining and kind of nostalgic to see that much fighting in the first minute, and it was entertaining. It's just funny as the games get more important. Oh, we don't need to fight anymore. It's actually not that important.
And a year from now in the Olympics, if you fight, you're ejected. So no one will fight then.
Well, unless it's worth it to get ejected to show them that we're not going to back down. Set the tone.
Send a message.
Yeah,
I would welcome it. I would welcome an Olympic bench
down.
clearing brawl.
We only have 3 players left, 3 skaters left, and a goalie, but we set the tone. Damn it!
Write this down.
These 3 guys aren't backing down for the next 2.5 hours. Right, Dex?
All right, I'll make a 4 Nations prediction as well. Team USA beats Canada by multiple goals. So by 2 or more goals, they will beat Canada. They'll win again, but by multiple goals. What's that?
I said so. It's probably an empty net goal. So they're up by 1. They get an empty net goal. That's what occurred on Saturday. I have a hard time believing it won't be incredibly close again, but I could certainly see that. Pull a goaltender and get a goal.
I don't really care how it happens. I just think the multiple goals. I think they'll beat him again and soundly. I mean, Canada. The fact that they have. I remember listening to the first game last week, and it was their commentary saying McDavid comes off, McKinnon comes on. It's like, oh, the best player in the world comes off, and maybe the second best player in the league gets to come on. Like, it must be nice if you're Canada, but the USA still beat them. So
okay,
go USA.
Yeah, you guys need to be reined in. You guys are homers. You guys are USA homers, quite frankly. And I love this country, but Canada, write this down, will beat the United States in the first ever. It's the first ever one, right? The 4 Nations,
first and last. Yes.
So Canada will beat the United States.
It's very possible.
Putting us in our rightful place. Hockey pecking order.
Yeah, that country will be in a national period of mourning if they lose again on Thursday.
It's more. I feel like it's
Canadians
more
won't take it well.
pertinent to their identity as a country
It's everything to them.
to win this contest.
Yeah,
you know?
no, it's their entire life. Like, they will just shut down for a while. There will be nothing from Canada.
Yeah, we'll be fine with or without it, and that might kind of piss them off too. It's like we don't take it as seriously. So okay, back to Charlie for your second prediction here.
Write it down. You
Yeah.
like writing things down.
For this one, I've got an off-season prediction here. So by the first regular season game of each of these teams next seasons, the Vikings will acquire Milton Williams. The Timberwolves will acquire KD, and the Wild are going to sign Mikko Rantanen.
Oh wow.
Look at this.
Whoa!
This is going to be a terrible beat when the first two legs happen, and then
Nico Rat.
That is
on the third
that
one.
is 100% me just trying to speak it into existence. Because I want
Mikko
that to happen.
Rantanen one. I haven't even heard of that possibility. That's an interesting one.
That was me just saying there was one sports book that had the Wild signing him as the second best odds. So I was like, I will take that and run with it.
Love Charlie's strategy here. It's great. Research and prepping with sportsbook odds.
That's incredible.
Write this
Wow.
down.
So the when hockey resumes, the trade deadline is March the 7th. So there will be a credible report at some point here that the Wild at least inquired or talked to the Pittsburgh Penguins about obtaining Sidney Crosby.
Wow.
Sidney Crosby, who played on a Stanley Cup champion with Bill Guerin, who played on Stanley Cup champions with Marc-Andre Fleury. They are good friends. They and Crosby has a no trade, but that being said, there is speculation because the Penguins are terrible that he will possibly or that they will inquire about him.
Did Judd make this already?
He has a Sidney Crosby will be traded at some point during the season prediction.
Yeah, this is and it's a credible report that will be on a level with like the Kevin Durant to the Timberwolves report,
Yeah.
which came down as, hey, one team that was involved, you didn't know this.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
the T-Wolves were involved, the Wolves were involved, so it'll be that type of credible report.
All right.
Write that down.
Old Dex.
Write this down. I'm gonna make a Nas Reed prediction. So I want also his previous 7 starts included in the prediction here. So write this down. Nas Reed will average at least 20 points a game as a starter with the Wolves throughout the rest of the regular season. So right now that's the case in the 7 games.
Including those games,
Yep,
you're saying? Okay.
Including the 7 games that have already happened. So he's averaged, I think, 21 points.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of the regular season, as a starter, Nas Reed will average at least 20 points per game.
All
I have
right.
another hot take about that on Flagrant Howls later today.
Wow. Look at that tease right there. Your favorite Timberwolves lifestyle podcast.
Write this down.
Okay, write this down. I'm going to tell you who the 2025 NFL Coach of the Year is right now. We just crowned Kevin O'Connell 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Pete Carroll will be the 2025 NFL Coach of the Year. Usually it's someone who takes a team that has low expectations or was garbage the year before and drastically increases their win total. And the bar is set very low for that franchise. The Raiders won, 4 games last year? I feel like more often than not, they win 4 games, maybe 5. And Pete Carroll, if you look back, the last time a Pete Carroll coached team didn't win at least 7 games was in 1994, his only year with the Jets. His first and only year with the New York Jets, first time NFL head coach. They went 6-10. And he's had a couple 7-9s in there. And then Russell Wilson left, and they went 7-10 with Geno Smith in 2021. But more often than not, Pete Carroll is taking rosters and bringing them to minimum 500 and oftentimes overachieving. I think he's going to do it. I think the Raiders are going to surprise. And hell, they might even have Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback. So Pete Carroll, 2025 Coach of the Year.
I like it.
I I saw something that came out on odds about that with like the favorite was Mike Vrabel.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw Ben Johnson, I thought.
totally.
Oh, you know what? It was Ben Johnson. I think it was the exact same odds on Johnson. And Vrabel might be a great choice because I think the Patriots
Braves.
will just improve.
Yeah,
And yeah,
absolutely. Drake
But
May.
like O'Connell is like so far down the list now because once you get it, you ain't getting it a second time.
Yeah, but like if you take a first-year quarterback, let's say they go and win 12 games or something with McCarthy, it's going to, they took a step back. No, but he literally took a guy that's never played in the NFL
they took
before.
a step back. Fire him. He's a bad coach.
Fire his
now.
ass.
He's a bad coach.
All right, Charlie, what's your third and final prediction?
Write this down.
Yeah, I am going to the Miami Open here in March, the tennis tournament. So I'm going to give you the winners for the men's and women's singles for the Miami Open. For the women's, it'll be Elena Rybakina, and the men's will be Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah. I feel like Alcaraz
Right now,
is kind of
Dex is
taken over, right?
Googling furiously.
You know, Carlos Alcaraz, right? You guys have. He's like isn't he like the next generational dominant player for the next 10 years?
Yeah, basically.
That's fair to say.
So
Tennis is tough. There's always like on the men's side, it's like, oh, well, there's one guy or maybe three in this case, the last 20 years. And then maybe Andy Murray will get one or Andy Roddick in a 15-year period.
Andy Roddick, wow.
He got one. He got one U.S. Open, I'm pretty sure. Dex, you good on the spelling all these?
I think so. I'm getting there. Yep. I got Carlos. It's the women's name I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, it's just the spelling of the names.
I can send it to you too, Dex, if you
Send it to me. That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you.
Put a pin in that. Take it
Put a
offline
pin in
and send
that.
it to him.
We'll circle back to that one.
Thanks, Charlie.
Charlie, great work here on your predictions, on your debut. Since you've got this life-changing platform right now, is there anyone you'd like to thank that helped you get here?
Yeah, I mean, first, parents for basically bullying me into being a Minnesota sports fan. Then you guys for helping out the car rides all over the place. Throw you guys in the car a lot. And then finally, just want to thank Naz Reid for being Naz Reid.
Amen. I think we should all be thanking Naz Reid for existing as Naz
Just the
Reid.
name. Just the names. All
I found it.
Know,
I found Elena's spelling. I
very
found
good.
it.
Oh,
Very good,
man.
Declan.
Wow, dude.
Naz Reid.
Nice job, dude. Awesome. Charlie, let's do it again sometime.
For sure.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right, thanks for coming on. Charlie making his debut on Write That Down. We'll get to our final predictions here. Boy, the Mackeys, as we promised, fired up the pizza maker last night, and we threw a legit pizza in that pizza maker, that pizza oven, and we enjoyed ourselves some stone-baked cracker thin crust. We did is it the 3 cheese, I believe, or is it 4? I think it's 3.
I think is it 3? I think I
It's
bought
3.5,
I have
maybe?
I have the Supreme I have the Supreme one in the freezer right now and the pepperoni sausage in the freezer right now, ready to rock.
They're so good. We enjoy cutting into squares like good Minnesotans. If you have, legitimately living up to the name, Legit Pizza, Pep's Legit Pizza. It's throwback style, pizza parlor vibes. You can find legit pizzas at a store near you and have an authentic at-home pizza parlor experience. It's good stuff. All right, let's make our final predictions here.
Write that down.
Judd?
Louis Varland will not start a game for the Twins this season. Louis Varland will not start a game. Now he might be an opener at some point, so I was debating this, but it feels like the opener as a league-wide thing is going away.
I would say actually and this would still count for your prediction. It's more of the opener and then what's called the bulk guy. So the bulk guy who follows the opener and gets the second through the fifth.
And I was trying to think could I say that he won't start a game in which he pitches, like he has to go at least 2 or something like that. But then the problem with that prediction is it gets to be a little bit confusing. So let's just say this: Louis Varland will not start a game for the Twins this season. I'll just go with that.
I love how you're thinking because you could get screwed on the semantics.
Yeah, because he could start a game. He could start a game as a bullpen game, pitch an inning, and then he technically started a game. But it's going to get confusing if I try and quantify it.
Because if you go, okay, he will start a game, or he will not start a game in which he pitches fewer than like 1 innings. But then you're like, what if he gets shelled in the first inning? Then...
Exactly. And I couldn't think of a good way to say that. So screw it. I'm just going to say he doesn't start.
I love it.
Oh, that's great. Okay, Declan.
Write it down. You
right.
like writing things down.
We kind of kicked around this idea. I think it was either on the Twin Show last week or maybe post Glenn Taylor losing the battle to Mark Laurie and Alex Rodriguez. So I want to write that down prediction that involves Justin Ishbia with these guys. So write this down. There will be documentation of A-Rod, Mark Laurie, and Justin Ishbia either in a Target Field suite or courtside at a Wolves game. And I'll put the end date of this by the end of the 2025 Twins season.
Okay.
So there'll be documentation at one of the two places, Target Field or Target Center, and we'll see Justin Ishbia sitting with Mark Laurie and Alex Rodriguez.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's already been a little bit of hobnobbing in Phoenix, so could definitely see that happening here.
Write this down.
Okay, and then write this down. Timberwolves prediction. Much to Judd's chagrin, at some point between now and the end of the season, I'll include playoffs here, the Timberwolves will run a starting 5 out of Conley, Ant, Jaden, Julius, and Gobert. The original starting 5.
Fire a Finch sign. I'm trying to work on that right now. I'm getting it ready to go.
So Conley, Julius, Jaden, Gobert, and Ant, the OG starting 5 from the first half of the season that everyone's like, I think we're good on that. I think we're good. They replaced Conley with DDV at one point, but then the injuries. And now it's like, okay, how can you not continue to start Naz Reid? They will find a way. They will find a way to send. And maybe this happens because of injuries or something. Maybe Naz is out a certain night, but it's going to happen, and Judd's going to absolutely bitch about it on Flagrant Howls, and I'm here for it.
Well, they just love the whole Conley thing, too, the stability Mike brings. And he
does bring stability.
And he does bring stability, but, my God, there's a fine line here to walk, and it's there.
Look at that. Even the prediction, the notion
we've
of this.
Always done. Well, you know what
this
is? This is we've always done it that way. We've always done it that way. This is how we do it in Timberwolves land. It's like, oh, no. He's a great. I mean,
I'm sure he's a fine guy.
He should be an assistant coach.
No, he's still an NBA player. He is still an NBA player
After
this
season. After this season, he should be an assistant coach. He's a great mind. Find another guard.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's find a long term.
Write this down.
All right.
I got nothing. I'm just.
I love it. I love the mere notion just triggered Judd to wrap this episode. All right, the OG edition of. Write that down here. Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd. We will speculate recklessly tomorrow with a Doogie Scoop session. And if you're looking for the football Vikings version of the Wednesday Write That Down predictions, you can find that on Purple Daily. Click that like button and the subscribe button on the Score North YouTube channel, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.